Okay guys, this is about take 6,000 because my phone keeps ringing, other things keep happening, dogs keep flying at me, cats attacking me, you know, all that jazz. So we're going to make this nice and short and sweet. What I want to do is I want to compare a standard Apex equipped gun with their regular duty carry action kit, or well I should say a modified duty carry action kit because it doesn't have the trigger return spring in it. And the Forward Sitting Sear and just a whole bunch of other Apex parts. There's no springs or anything from the duty carry action kit in this gun other than the Forward Sitting Sear, the USB, and obviously the USB spring. So let's get right into it. We're going to talk about trigger characteristics and why I like the Forward Sitting Sear and why I think a lot of people will really dig it once it's released, in addition to some of the other parts that Randy and the Apex Tactical crew are working on. So standard Apex gun right here, we're going to verify that this is clear. I'm going to go ahead, visually inspect the chamber, all that jazz. We're clear. So here's our first point. Trigger finger interacts with the trigger here. We've got a whole bunch of pre-travel, quite a bit actually. We get to this point where the sear is engaged, and from here it's only a matter of pressing through your brake. Note that there is no over travel with this current setup because you've got the frame mounted stop and also the trigger mounted stop. So again, we're just going to go ahead and walk through the process, so to speak. Whole bunch of pre-travel, engagement point right here, and then our brake. So once more, we've got A, B, C. It's not a bad trigger. I actually dig it a lot. The trigger brake characteristics are fantastic. But one of the things that I find is that under speed, because the distance from the back of the frame to the trigger itself is not really enough for me, I find that under speed my trigger finger tends to creep further into the trigger guard. It's a little bit of a training issue and a little bit of an equipment issue because at speed what I do find is that I tend to overgrip the gun. So as I tighten my grip on my dominant hand, what I end up getting is just that trigger walk, so to speak. So I've adjusted this with some training, but also with some equipment as well, which I really do believe is the best of both worlds. So again, A, B, C, done. Let's move into the other gun. This one here has the Apex Forward Sitting Sear. We're going to go ahead, clear this. We're clear, and we're going to walk right into this again. Here we have all of our safeties intact. Nothing's been compromised. The USB Ultimate Striker block is still working. The trigger hinge safety is still working as well. I did modify it a little bit, but it's still there and still functioning. You kind of have to modify it when you move or install pre-travel adjustments. So again, here we've got our A position, B position where the sear is engaged, and then our brake. It's very short. Notice where the trigger stops because we have an over travel stop in there. We're going to reset it, and we're going to move right into this again. We've got A, B, C. It's a very short overall throw, very short reset. It basically mimics the standard Apex Sear 100%. It's just moved forward. What I get with this is I don't run into any issues where my trigger finger can creep in, literally, because I can't reach. I have to compromise my grip at the back of the frame in order for my trigger finger to creep in. So for me, this is a better situation here because the brake point is just simply moved forward. Now, the one downside to this is that I've done pre-travel stops and over-travel stops. Everything is internal, so this is actually IDPA compliant, but it's truthfully not the greatest thing in the world when you have to actually go in and weld up your sear housing block and create over-travel stops in the front. I would much rather have a factory-made part or a replacement trigger bar to do this for me, which Randy is actually in the process of doing, because those are they're better additions to the system. There's no variation, they're all machined, they're all 100% CNC'd, and you really do get the beauty of repeatability through using a machine. So once Randy comes out with those parts, if you find that you want the brake further forward, like for example a 1911 with a flat face forward sitting trigger, one of the larger triggers, then if you like that kind of system, this is going to be the sear for you. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the other setup. It's just less than ideal for some people. And the wonderful thing about this situation is that Randy's basically created the exact same product, only a different brake point. So the brake between this gun and this gun is essentially the exact same thing. It feels exactly the same. It's just there's different trigger throw characteristics and there's different distances in which all of this jazz happens.